a more elaborate decision was taken by the government of Maharashtra a few days back with regard to the private hospitals because of the rising number of cases in Maharashtra. Let's first recap what was the decision of the government of Maharashtra. I'll tell you with the help of these graphics that I'm putting out right now. And if you see, in fact, these graphics, the rates in Maharashtra, the government said that 80% of the beds, the rates will be capped. The pricing cap will stay till August 31st. The government also said 2,600 beds, 471 ICU beds likely to be opened up for COVID-19 patients, 3,000 non-COVID beds likely to open up. ICU ventilator charges have been capped by the government of Maharashtra to 9,000. ICU bed without ventilator, 7,500. Isolation in routine ward, 4,000 per day. COVID testing already has been capped to 4,500. Medicines will be charged as per the MRP. Angiography at 12,000 rupees and bypass surgery at 3.23 lakh rupees. Total knee replacement 2.4 lakh and normal delivery is 75,000 rupees per in fact a bed. So that's the cap in fact which was put by the government of Maharashtra to get in the private hospitals back into their fold. Now, as we talk about the Mumbai hospitals, Rajdeep Sardesai, consulting editor, spoke to a few private hospitals to try and understand what, in fact, the government has done and how much is it beneficial in the state of Maharashtra getting in the private hospitals in the loop as far as the COVID-19 war is concerned. Take a look.
You tell us, Abhay Soy, do you believe that private hospitals have to follow a certain government diktat in crisis times like COVID?
So Rajdeep, let me tell you, I think, at times like this, at a time of pandemic, there's no question everybody needs to stand shoulder to shoulder, whether it's the private sector. I don't completely buy into the fact that the private sector has not been not be standing up where it's required. I mean, I can give you our own example. In Mumbai, we were the first hospital which volunteered 110 beds. Even today 5%. And we have a single facility in Mumbai. 5% of Mumbai's critical care beds are at Nanavati Hospital. In Delhi, 20% of the critical care beds is in our facility. It's a flagship of ours, which we provided. It's the second largest hospital in Delhi providing services to COVID patients. We already addressed the requirements of more than 1,000 COVID patients. We conducted more than 15,000 tests. So I think clearly there is, and if I can say it similarly, Medanta, I think in Gurugram, like Dr. Trehan said, they are contributing in their own way by setting up another facility. I believe Apollo is doing it in Chennai and so on and so forth. So I think what you need to look at is the organized sector and the few players, the corporate players. Most of us have a certain geographic concentration. Max, for example, has Delhi. You have Apollo in Chennai. Then, Gurugram is Medanta and so on. And I think each one of us we're trying to pull our weight wherever it's possible.
So you're saying trying to pull your weight. The reality on the ground, government sources tell us is that you're not. They say there are two charges they make. A, that you are overcharging patients. The patient is paying, according to one report, you're charging 5 to 6 times more compared to a government hospital. You are following what is your fee structure at normal times. In a crisis, surely, according to the government, you have to change the rules.
I'm sorry, Rajdeep. Let me be very clear. I don't think any hospital has changed its pricing structure, in the last 3 months. I mean, there is absolutely no question of profiteering during the pandemic. That is one. Secondly, the price of a service at a government hospital is not really worked out because the losses may be subsidized by the government itself. The best example of this is actually in the UK. And what the finance minister over there, Rishi Sunak, has done, he's actually enlisted all the private sector hospitals on a no-profit basis, essentially by paying the direct salaries of doctors and nurses, providing for medicines, providing for personal protection equipment, and enlisting the entire capacity over there. And I think that's a beautiful example, perhaps something which we need to follow in India as well.
The idea is not to villainize private hospitals. I'm not at all suggesting that the private hospitals which are COVID dedicated are not working or are not doing enough. But there are questions as far as the price is concerned, profitability and so on and so forth. But the private hospitals, like this report that I'm now going to show you from the Jaslok Hospital in Mumbai, are also fighting the coronavirus war. Doctors there are also putting out, large amount of effort. They are in the PPE suits, going through the same difficulties. The difference could be that the load on the government hospitals is much higher, as the government hospitals are the ones which are getting the maximum load of patients. But few private hospitals are also doing their bit. Take a look at this report from the Jaslok Hospital in Mumbai.
Overcharging, COVID patients turned away. Private hospitals have been smeared time and again as profiteers during a pandemic. India Today visited the Jaslok Hospital in Mumbai to see how true it is.
Jaslok Hospital is fully functional, and here you see that we enter that hospital to see behind the scenes how these COVID facilities are working. We asked ourselves, for 2 months we were taking all precautions. What is the need to go inside the hospital and cover this story? We are storytellers, and it's our duty to respect the courage of the doctors in Mumbai who are working inside this hospital day and night.
The hospital has a clear procedure to segregate patients based on symptoms.
When the patient comes inside, we see whether the patient is stable enough to be taken time, or if the patient's condition is really bad. If the patient's condition is very pressure rooms, in that we take the patient and we do all the procedures inside with all the COVID suits.
Jaslok Hospital sees a lot of non-COVID patients, and the challenge is to ensure patients with other ailments don't contract coronavirus.
So this is a high-risk holding area. When we feel in the screening, as we told in the EMS, in the screening area, if we see that that patient is high risk, so we'll get them here. So every patient on every floor now, irrespective of the class of the patient, so we are keeping them in separate rooms.
So we are inside Jaslok Hospital now. It's the normal non-COVID ICU area, and we are just about to wear scrubs before we wear the PPE, because the idea is that nothing which you have with you should go out of this premises and to contain the virus.
Nurses in this ward haven't gone home in months, spending 7 days at work and then being quarantined for next week.
हम लोग 1 वीक जहाँ पे हम लोग कोविड ड्यूटी करते तो हम लोग फैमिली में नहीं जा रहे, हम लोग घर यहाँ पे रह रहे। मैंने तो मेरे बच्चे को अभी दूसरी जगह पे छोड़ा है, मैं और मेरे हस्बैंड साथ में रहते हैं। बच्चे का एज 15 इयर्स है, तो वो दूसरी जगह पे रह रहे। लास्ट 2-3 मंथ से हम लोगों ने सेपरेट किया बच्चे लोग को।
There is no one in Mumbai, but Jaslok is like my family, and my father always supported me.
These corona heroes are treating patients 24/7, knowing how many of their colleagues in the hospital also tested positive for coronavirus just weeks ago. But let's address the elephant in the room. Are these private hospitals overcharging patients?
We were never in the scanner of any pricing issues as such. There is a regulation I think everybody will have to follow, and I think there is a standardization of pricing. So I think that falls in place now.
With Mustafa Sheikh in Mumbai, Bureau Report, India Today.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.